Vous devriez dans un instant avoir... Vous devriez m'entendre déjà. Ce qui va se passer aujourd'hui, c'est une session d'interview où j'interviewe l'auteur Bill O'Hanlon, qui se trouve être un de mes amis et un de mes mentors. Et je l'interviewe dans le cadre de la rédaction de mon nouveau livre qui s'appelle Profession entrepreneur libre. Donc, la raison pour laquelle j'interviewe Bill, c'est parce que j'ai pour projet de raconter son histoire dans mon livre. C'est un des exemples d'entrepreneurs dont je vais parler. Et donc, j'ai des questions à lui poser pour clarifier son histoire. C'est pour ça que je filme cette vidéo, pour avoir, moi, l'enregistrement de ma conversation avec Bill, parce que cet enregistrement me sera précieux après pour pouvoir garder une trace de tout ce qu'il a dit. Et ce rendez-vous est très important parce que voilà, je veux être précis en fait sur ce que je dis au sujet des gens dont je parle dans mes livres. Et donc, bien que je connaisse très bien Bill et très bien son histoire, c'est important pour moi de la raconter correctement et d'être aussi factuellement correct sur ce que je raconte dans mon bouquin et de ne pas dire des choses de mémoire qui soient par exemple des exagérations de ma part ou des choses incorrectes ou imparfaites par rapport à ce que la personne a réellement vécu. Donc, Bill nous rejoint et on va parler en anglais. Hi Bill.
Just one second, sorry. I'm using something new here. I don't know. Start video, good. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, let me just adjust my video. I was using my computer and something's wrong with the camera. It looks like there's Vaseline on it, so I had to switch to my iPad.
So, okay, let me see. I can see you and I can hear you perfect. And sound is the most important part. No, sound will be the most important part for me to just be able to take notes as we speak.
Okay, good.
So that's good. I'm just trying to zoom out on my computer so I can both see you and my note-taking document. And then we'll be good. Okay, let me check that I am recording. So this is not a typical interview because our audience is mostly me, and then also I'm sharing with the small team that helps me with my book launch, so my ambassadors for the book launch, so that they can see the how do you say that in English? Behind the scenes.
Sorry about that. My other camera was just really strange. I don't know what happened to it.
So, don't worry about that. All right, so I do need to start by thanking you because you're responsible in chronological order for the title of the book, because I came up with the concept of the free entrepreneur in a discussion with you in a crêperie in Brittany.
I remember, yeah.
And then through your course, I was able to build the proposal that I sent to the publisher. They got accepted, so you're responsible also for that. I blame you for all of that.
All right, that's good. I remember when we were sitting in London, actually, when you went to the NLP workshop.
Oh, yeah.
And we were talking about my 10 things for writing a book, and you were just taking notes in your notebook. I was so happy you were into it. That was fun.
Cool. And I also want to thank you because, well, you gave me clarity not only on how to present the concepts of the book to a publisher, but also coming up with an actual clear concept, because the first proposal I came up with was very unclear as to like who am I speaking to, what am I offering. So now I'm very clear, and I'm pretty far along in the book. So here's the concept and what I need our talk to generate. I'm writing a book for the 19 million French people that want to one day start a business and don't do it. And the reason they don't do it is because they don't have the tools and they don't have the confidence. So I want to, basically I'm selling the tools and I'm giving the confidence with the book. And the way I want to do it is I have a lot of prescriptive nonfiction, so a lot of like actual advice. Here's what you should do. Here's the like how to do the surveys and all of that. And I weave a lot of stories with that. I'm just trying to check at the same time that the stream is going out well for my recording to be okay. So your story is one of the stories I would like to tell in the book, and the reason why is because from the elements I have, okay, you previously had already a career as a therapist and speaker and author before you decided to jump on the online bandwagon and do that part. So it's interesting because I do have people that think, for instance, oh, I need to be less than 25-year-old if I want to start a business online.
No, I can dispel that. I think, if I think back, I think I'm 66, I'm going to be 67 this year. I think I started when I was 58, maybe 57, I'll call it. Maybe 10 years ago, maybe 58, I don't remember exactly, but I started investigating. Mm-hmm. I didn't start it until I was about 60. 60 years ago.
Okay.
Maybe 59, let's say that. Yeah.
Let's write 59. So you are 66, turning 67 this year.
Turned 67 in August, and you know, there's a saying, maybe you've heard it, but I'm not a digital native. I'm a digital immigrant.
I love that.
I wasn't born with, you know, my son once asked me, did they have fax machines when you were growing up? No. Did they have telephones? Yes. Did they have cell phones?
Yeah.
No.
But
no
telephones were, back then, telephones were things you used to actually call people on the telephone.
Yeah, that's right. And they had to dial it with your finger and it went around. It was strange. But, you know, all those digital tools that he grew up with, that he took for granted, the internet was non-existence. There was no email. There was none of that stuff. So I didn't grow up with that. So, you know, it's not just age. It's also what you grew up with and what you're used to. Most people, younger people, grew up with a telephone in their hand and they know how to use it as a communication and a research device and a business building device. I didn't know any of that.
And don't forget that, I don't know if you saw the movie Jumanji 2, but at some point there's this guy that's been trapped in the game since the 80s.
Oh yeah, Tron.
And then he keeps hearing everybody saying, well, oh, I can't find the map because I don't have my telephone. I can't do this because I don't have my telephone. And it's like, did the sense of the word telephone change since the 90s? Because it's like, so first I have the first chapter. So the way the book is constructed is in the first part of the book. I talk about several obstacles that people encounter when they think of starting a business, and so I start this first part of the book by introducing several characters. We are actual people that will, over the course of their story, dispel those myths and problems. And then their stories are like intertwined from the beginning to the end of the book. And so I already wrote your intro chapter, and I want to check the factual accuracy of that, and then I have questions about the story. So the data I have is that you were fed up with being a hippie in summer of 1976. And the way I wrote it, and then you tell me if the facts are correct. I'm saying several years of mild drug abuse, playing guitar with his friends, taught Bill that you can change your world by just growing long hair and dreaming around a campfire about changing the world.
I didn't really ever abuse drugs. Drug use.
Drug use. Okay. I'll say use. I'm saying Bill is a man of his time, but he can't bear being a living stereotype anymore. When he hears about Milton Erickson and the small revolution that the paralytic therapist is starting in the world of psychology and medicine, he decides to try the impossible and become Erickson's apprentice.
That's good. Just in terms of accuracy, I met him in 1973,
Mm-hmm.
and I studied with him in 1977.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I met him when I was a student at the university, and in 73, but then I studied with him in 1977, and I became a therapist in 1978. I mean, it took me a few years of graduate school before I said this.
Okay. So I'll say after attending a conference of Erickson's at the university, and
No,
no.
I met him at an art gallery at the university.
Okay, you
where
just
I
met
worked.
him. Okay, I thought you were. Okay.
No, I was a psychology student, but I was working to earn my way through university. We have to do that here in the States. And he came to the art gallery. There's a long story about it, but basically, I met him there, and I didn't know who he was, but there was an article about him in a magazine, Newsweek magazine in the United States, and I read about it then, and I determined that I would find out more and study at that time. That was 1973. It took me a few years to study with him.
Okay.
You don't have to put in all that detail. I'm just since you're checking the facts.
So I'll say, so it took roughly 4 years, you're saying, between the meeting him to the becoming the apprentice.
Well, learning enough about him and then working up the courage to approach him, yes.
Okay.
I was a very shy person in those days. Painfully shy.
Yeah, this
And
is
I
great.
never approached him. I wrote him a letter. I actually would never call him in my life. I would have still never met him if I had to call him. I only wrote him a letter because I was way too frightened to interact with people, way too shy.
Okay, so it's not that you knocked on his door, it's that you sent him a letter.
That's right, send a letter. And you can leave out any of these details just to make the story shorter, so don't worry about that. I just want you to have the facts so you can choose which ones to put in.
Okay. So how much did you have to travel to go there? Erickson lived in so you lived for a while.
In Phoenix, I lived
Yes.
in Tempe, which is a suburb, so it was, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Okay, so that's not that far.
No, not very far.
I couldn't
I
say
lived in the area, but no,
you didn't have to cross Arizona to get there.
I didn't have to drag through the desert, look out for the buzzards. No, nothing like that.
So you said okay.
I borrowed my roommate's car, that's how I got there. I had no car. I had no money.
So you were a tall, skinny guy, am I correct?
Short, skinny guy, I'd say. That's short, skinny guy.
Short?
Short, yeah, not tall at all. Yeah, but yeah, definitely skinny. I was like you, skinny. When you were younger, I was exactly undersized, very skinny, super small.
Okay.
Yeah. My hair was the biggest thing about it.
Did you have glasses?
I did. Yeah, I had glasses when I was a teenager, so I had glasses. Yes.
Okay.
I had John Lennon glasses. Those kind of wireframe ones that looked like John Lennon during one part of his life. Very much like John Lennon and Jesus is what I look like. some sort of mutant child of John Lennon and Jesus.
Good. So I'm fixing the details as we speak. Okay, that's good. So is it in your letter that you made the offer for him to become your mentor?
Yes, I wanted to study with him, and he responded, of course, very ambiguously, but ultimately I ended up becoming his gardener because I couldn't pay him. I had no money. I was working my way through graduate school at university, and I was working full time, and I just skipped classes to come to see him, and I did gardening. Yeah.
So
to kind of pay him back.
So did you suggest that, or did he suggest that?
No, he did. Well, it's complicated. Within the letter I said, I would like to write your biography, I'd like to write an article about you, or I could even do gardening for you because I was a gardener between undergraduate and graduate schools, and so I have some experience in that. When I came out there, he took me right to the garden. And I thought it was a metaphor. He was, talking about, yes, you can work in my garden. It was no metaphor. It was, get down
very literal
and weed the garden.
Okay.
Would you? No metaphor at all. It was actual.
Would you say that back then? I think you mentioned before that so before that happened, in that period of your life, that you were having dark thoughts because you didn't know exactly where you were going in life.
Definitely, I think that's right. And I didn't have the confidence. I'm talking about confidence, which you talk about in your book. Studying with Dr. Erickson gave me confidence because he exuded confidence. He just knew what he was doing. And I absorbed enough both information and confidence from him that I started feeling more confident. And, of course, I'm sure he was doing hypnotic things with me while I was gardening, but I started to absorb some of that confidence from being around him and observing him. And then soon after that, I started teaching, which was very shocking because I was so shy, but I was so passionate about telling everyone in the world about what this guy was about and his different approach to change that I overcame my shyness because my passion was so strong.
Okay, so you said that happened after you got your degree, correct? What was that degree?
But actually, yes, I think so. I started teaching a little, actually, while I was still in graduate school. And that surprised me. One of my professors offered to give me some credit so I could get out of graduate school more quickly if I taught him and a few other students about Dr. Erickson, because Dr. Erickson was so confusing. And I'd read everything at that point. I was obsessed. And then I'd studied with him, so I put together my thoughts. And that was the first teaching that I did. So that was in graduate school, and then soon after I got out, I started teaching. Once every 2 months, I would teach a workshop, which again surprised me. I wouldn't have expected that I could do such a thing.
So I'm trying to get my chronology of what I've written so far straightened up. So 77 is when you start your observing Erickson's therapy practice and being the gardener.
During that year, it was just a year.
Okay, and at that time, are you already? Do you already have a diploma or not?
No, well, I have a bachelor's degree, but I had worked a little in psychotherapy, but I couldn't work officially without an advanced degree, without a master's degree. And So I finished that in 1978, and then I became an official there.
Okay, so your bachelor's degree was in psychology?
Psychology, master's degree in marriage and family therapy, yeah.
Okay, and so I'm saying that when you started with Erickson, there was no visible path from there to a rags to riches story. However, you knew that you couldn't keep going the way you were going. So in the dilemma between staying the same, which is a form of suicide, or change, you chose to live and change.
Well, yes, I was so restricted too. I was so shy. I was so unconfident. And being with Erickson just expanded things. You're right. I mean, it changed my patterns. I changed my patterns, and he helped me do that. And he helped me figure out how to change my patterns, if you will. And so I expanded beyond my very limited range, very, very limited personal range.
Okay. So what I'm saying is that by accepting...
He wasn't oriented at all to business. He had very little money. He charged very little money. He charged me nothing, obviously, but I bartered, I guess. But he wasn't a model of entrepreneurial, business. I guess.
I'm saying that, so I'm saying that he accepted to be a catalyst, like by accepting that deal, he accepted to be a catalyst of change. Then I have a quote of Erickson, of his, about life is not a mystery that you can find the solution to today. You need to enjoy the wait and the time where you're becoming the person you are. There is nothing more amazing in the world than planting seeds in a garden without knowing what flowers will bloom from them.
It's very nice.
So I need to... So then what I'm saying is that, so when you shook Erickson's hands on that deal, you planted a seed without knowing what kind of fruits would come out and at what speed. And over the 4 following years, that he became a friend and a role model for you. Could I say that?
I don't know about friend. He wasn't the friend type. He was much more of a mentor. He was one of those very fierce mentors who wasn't friends, I would say, much more a tough mentor. He was not easy. He had a good sense of humor, but he was not my friend at all. I couldn't say friend.
Okay, all right.
Chef Walker is a friend of mine. He's a mentor, but Chef is a nice person. Erickson wasn't a nice person.
Okay.
I don't mean to say he was bad and mean, but he was tough. He was not easygoing or easy to just sit around and chat. No, he was not. He was one of those, shaman mentors who scares you and gets you to change. He is tough. He wasn't that approachable.
Okay. So I want to give a few examples of so you have the hero meets the mentor, and the mentor has magical powers. So I'm trying to give a few examples of what kind of magical powers you've seen Erickson work that convinced you of possibility therapy and what he was doing.
Yeah. So just to go back, he was more like Gandalf. He had a kindliness to him, but he was tough in terms of like Gandalf with Frodo. I mean, he was fierce. He was fierce like Gandalf in that way. I think that what Erickson showed me, and I learned NLP around the same time too, is that there were patterns of how people didn't change and patterns for how people did change. And the other thing was, he believed that people had within them everything they needed to make the changes they need, which was not an idea that I had before. I thought some people just didn't have it. I thought they had deficits, and he just saw everyone as was having assets, internal and social assets. And one of the assets I realized I had, which will go later to when I started an online business, was that I knew how to learn. I had learned how to learn. And I love learning. I mean, you do. Whenever I've seen you meet a new person, you're instantly trying to learn from them. And you know how rare that is if you've observed other people.
Yeah.
Most people are doing output and say, oh, look at me, I'm Sebastian and I have this great business. No, you're saying, tell me about what you know. I'm really interested in learning what you're good at, what you've already accomplished, what you know something about. And I really learned to learn. And I realized that I love learning and that I learned to learn. So many years later, when I'm not a digital native and I come across internet marketing and internet courses, I'm like, I have no idea how to do this, but I know how to learn. And I'm smart, and I will figure it out. It may take me longer than it would take someone who grew up with all these digital devices, but I will learn this because I want to change the world and I want to have a great life. Those are my two goals. I want to change the world and have a great life.
I'm taking notes.
In fact, that's my motto. I used to have on my website, but I don't have it anymore. There's a U.S. author, his name is E.B. White, and he said, I get up every day determined to both change the world and have one hell of a good time. Sometimes this makes planning my day difficult. And that used to be my motto, my personal motto. I put it on my website, I took it off. I just want to make things less cluttered. But that is what I realized my life is. Having one hell of a good time and change
the world. So, did you see Erickson cure phobias and
yes.
And what other kinds of treatments was he doing?
Weird. One of my favorites was he had a woman sit in a chair who had 3 phobias, and he put her in trance, and he said, those phobias are draining out of you into the chair. And now they're in the chair. And when she came out of trance, she jumped up from the chair. She didn't want to reabsorb them. And then Erickson called his wife in and said, Betty, will you sit on that chair? And the woman wouldn't let her sit down. She was afraid she would catch the phobias that were still in the chair. Now that is just weird, but it's wonderful. So she learned he knew human beings had this ability, which sometimes is a troublesome ability, to externalize things and put things in different places. I mean, Donald Trump is a great example of that. He blames everyone else for all his problems. And so that's a pathological, bad way to do it. But Erickson realized, okay, if human beings have this possibility of shoveling things out of their experience and putting them out in the world, projecting them onto other people, he could just use that to cure somebody. I mean, that was his brilliance. He used what could have been a liability as an asset.
And I see in that way, for instance, in that story, with this way of very conversational hypnosis, also means that for the woman to worry about somebody else sitting in that chair also means how much she is internalized, that she's gotten rid of the phobia.
Yes, they were there. She didn't want anyone else to catch them. Yeah. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, that was so powerful to me to see him do that work. And here I was in graduate school, and they're teaching me all about psychoanalysis, crazy stuff that didn't help people. And then I'd see Erickson cure people in one session, and I'm like, this is crazy. I love this, but it's crazy. How do you do this? I know he does it, but I want to know how to do it. That's what led to my first book. I became obsessed with figuring out how he did it, and that led to Taproots, which was my first book out. because
What's the title? What's the title? What's the title?
Taproots.
T-A-P?
T-A-P-R-O-O-T-S.
Okay.
It's, in Spanish, it's raíz profunda, so I suspect it's similar in French.
Racine profonde.
Roots, yeah, racine, yeah. Racine, and it's, so deep roots is sometimes what they translate it as when it's in a foreign translation. So, yeah, taproots, just deep roots, these really deep roots that go way down to the ground.
So, what I'm saying then is that with every day that was passing, your resolution was getting reinforced. You had to get this message of hope to many more people, that it is possible to get out of depression. It is possible to vanquish your phobias, to change durably and become the person you dream to be. And
absolutely. And not just to get the message out to the world, but to change that field that I'd gone into, psychotherapy. I was downright angry about how long, you know, like you get in France, you get in Lacanian psychotherapy, you may be in there for 10 years with no change. And it just upset me so much because I had suffered when I was younger from a depression. And I thought, if I'd been in there for 10 years, I'm not sure I'd still be alive. I want to change. I want to feel better. And I was upset that we were doing this profession and not helping people change. It made me mad. I was so mad. I wanted to change it. And then so passionate about this other approach that I wanted to share. Both.
so at this point, I'm sharing the fact. So Erickson died in March 1980.
Correct.
And by that time, you already had chosen your life mission of becoming a therapist, and
Yes.
You wrote your first book. So when was your first book?
My first book was 87. So this was in the 70s, I say with him. 87, my first book came out. 1987. Took me about a year to write. My first book actually took 3 years to write, but it didn't come out until after that one.
Okay. And so your first book that you wrote, you started writing when?
In 1983, and it didn't come out until after that other book in 87.
Okay.
I started writing it in 83 with a guy in England, I believe. And there were a lot of delays for that. It wasn't a very good book. And the first book I wrote on my own was Taproots. That came out early in 1987.
And what was the goal of Taproots? What did you try to achieve with that book?
I wanted to let people know of a different way, and I also wanted, because Erickson was so confusing to people, and they treated him like he was some sort of one-of-a-kind person, and no one else could do what he could do. And I thought, well, I can't do exactly what he could do, and you can't do exactly what he could do, but you could do something like it. And I wanted to make some of those things that he knew accessible and available to people. And so, again, because I'd studied NLP, I thought, there's got to be a pattern to this. And I am going to find this pattern. So I was obsessed. I read everything. I listened to everything about him or by him. I watched, there were a few films, videos, and I watched all those, and I extracted from those the patterns that I thought anybody could use, even if they weren't doctors. Okay. That was my goal, is to make that approach available, even if somebody wasn't the creative genius that Dr. Erickson was.
Okay, so there was both the idea of sharing and the idea of kind of like translating so that people wouldn't misrepresent it as being magical skill, but rather learnable skill.
Right, and that's sort of what you're doing with your book, is that people look at it and they go, oh, I could never do that. I wouldn't know how to do that. And I wouldn't have the confidence to do it. But you're saying, no, there are patterns. I have lived these, I've taught them to other people, and here are the patterns that you can use. Here are the steps, patterns, the sequences, and the skills and tools. And I thought that there was something like that in Erickson's work, even though he didn't really listened. He would be very mysterious about it. You know, it's like if you look and you see an internet entrepreneur and they're a genius, you know, some genius kind of person, but they don't know how to teach it. And they don't want to teach it, really. They just want to do it and make a lot of money, or, you know, or change the world in their ways. But you're really interested in helping other people figure out how to do it. I was the same way. I just know there's a way to teach this and help other people learn it. So it can't just be available for this one person. It can be available for
everyone.
Anyone.
So then you go from being a 25-year-old gardener, so you were 25 in summer of 77.
25, 26, yeah. 25, you're right. Yeah, I was born in 52.
So you go from there to being a 30-year-old therapist and a 35-year-old author and a 50-year-old international speaker and trainer. So I'm doing an I don't know, how do you call that? I'm going fast forward into the future.
Yes.
And I'm going to the a tough day. Well, maybe not. You'll tell me. I don't have the facts, so I'm telling my romanticized version of your divorce.
Yes.
So what year was that?
Well, I have to stop you. I've been through 3 divorces.
Oh my God! I didn't know.
Oh yeah. I've been married 3 times. Yeah. That's the worst.
How many different women was that, though?
3.
Okay.
There were 3 different ones. Don't worry. I did never marry one of them twice. I'm
Okay.
stupid, but I'm not that.
Well, I'm asking because like Dan Kennedy says that he like divorced twice, I think, but he was lucky to marry rich twice because he remarried the wife that he had divorced. So he got his money back when she came back.
That's the greatest story. No, I never got any of that money back. I married the same woman, but she had 3 different names and 3 different names.
That would be interesting.
She just had the same story. This story always ended the same.
Okay.
I've seen this movie before and I did it again.
So could you walk me through
The third one, the second one was the one that was really the big catalyst for change. I moved to, so let's see, when was that? That was 1994, and I decided to make a change. I had been working so much, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. No, maybe, yeah, 1994, yeah, that's when I got divorced.
And so did she leave you because you were working so much?
Yeah, I was working so much. I was married to my work, really, in a certain way. And I was making good money, but I was spending more than I made. Always. That was a lifelong pattern.
So let me make the math. So 1994 is the age of 42.
Is that right? Yeah, 42, yeah. Yeah, 42. And then I got married again really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got a divorce in 2008. And that was the big change.
Okay, so
I got married again, same pattern. I was overworking, overspending. And that was the major catalyst. It's like, I gotta stop. I'm married to my work again.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working too much. I love my work, but I'm doing it too much and I'm too busy. And I started to look around and my idea was, so that was the big change in 2008. I really wanted to make a change. And so
wait. You're jumping into the action taking, and I want to get my catalyst to action right.
catalyst.
So 2008 is 56.
I'm 56, right? Is that right?
Yes. And you already had, so by that time you were no longer hippie. You had short hair, I guess. Probably
Yes, I did.
white hair.
White hair by then.
Do
yes.
you know
I
how-
had white hair when I was 30.
So-
I went premature.
Did you? So let's say let's take that. Let's take the day that either your wife tells you she's fed up, or you both decide it doesn't work. You'll tell me more about that. But
No,
let's say
she said she was leaving. That was it. And I was there in the house alone. In this I had a big house.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there in my big house alone. And I had stupidly said, I'm going to be gone on a trip. Take what you want. And the bed and two couches were left. In the whole
Really?
house.
Okay.
I figured, well, I can make more money and I'll buy other things. But it was a very sad scene. It was a bed and two couches. Oh, and a dining room table. She left it. There was a big dining room table. It was hard to move, so she left that. She didn't want to leave it. She wanted it later, but I didn't give it to her. But yeah,
okay,
bed, two couches, and a dining room table.
nice.
That was it. I had to
Uh,
buy all new. I had to buy all new dishes, silverware, everything.
so wait.
She left me sheets for the bed. That was
So
kind
you had the accessories of what was left. That's good. That's good.
So yeah, I'd skip that first divorce maybe, or maybe you'd say you've gone through a previous divorce, but
Yeah. I'll just
the
focus
same
on
thing
that.
happened
because that's-
basically, 12 years later, 13, 14 years later, boom, it's almost the exact same story. The wife leaves with a bunch of money. Bill is totally in debt.
And then
hanging
has to
outside
work more to make more money that he
$5,000.
can spend. Okay. So 2008, how many books did you have in your portfolio at that time, roughly? I think
I remember it was one book a year, so we can sort of figure it out from that. My first book came out in
87. That's not
Must
possible.
have been about 30 books, isn't that right? 29, 30?
That would be 21 books.
Is
If
that right?
it was a book a year, yes. You said Out of the Blue was your 37th. And
Yes.
that's roughly one a year since 80. That would be 2014, Out of the Blue.
I think the Out of the Blue was the 36th, I think, but I'm not sure.
So you were author of more than 20 books then. And so do you remember, so would that be correct to say that at that time, let's say we are 2008, you would be introduced on stage by mentioning your 20 books you've written, and had you already been on Oprah then?
Yes,
Okay.
that was in 1999.
And so you've sold more than 500,000 books. Did you already reach that number by then?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
After Oprah? Okay.
I
So,
haven't figured it out, but yeah.
okay. I'm going to say that Ericksonian therapy had not only survived his death but prospered.
Say that again?
like-
I missed that.
That Ericksonian therapy not only survived Milton's death but was much
yeah.
more
Yeah,
powerful
impressive,
force
yeah.
in your case.
Spread all over the world, yeah.
Where could I find like numbers of how many people practice it? I've been trying to find.
I would say you should go to the Milton Erickson Foundation, Milton H. Erickson Foundation. I think it's ericksonfoundation.org if I remember, but you can look it up. ericksonfoundation.org. They have a listing of all the Erickson societies. They're called societies, I guess, all over the world. So there's there's two in France, if I remember.
Okay, so I can find the numbers there. So now this is my romanticized bit there. You'll tell me if I can say that. So I'm saying, here's a sample quote of like attendees and institutions that hired Bill across the world. And then I'm putting this quote that says, "You are involved, you are engaged, always ready to do more to understand our needs. It's with great pleasure that we renew our commitment to our relationship in the coming years." And I'm saying this is a typical feedback that Bill was getting from his speech. And then the next sentence, which I need to massage a little bit, is it's also almost word for word the opposite of what his wife told him when she slammed the door.
That's great. I love that. Sure. That's good. Well, that's good. I like that. I don't know if you want to put this in, but my wife once told me, the one right before that, the Margie said, "What do we need to do when you come home to have you be like really here? Do we need to sit the children and a bunch of stuffed animals on the couch and we all clap for you?" Which was kind of mean, but true. Yeah, because she wanted me to be alive and that, but I'd come home and I didn't want to stop. I didn't want to be on stage anymore. I wanted to pull back. I'm really introvert, even though I seem extroverted, but how I recharge my batteries, I spend time alone. I read, I spend time thinking alone, and I do not want to be external and engaged. So my family in some ways got the worst of it because I wanted to pull back and have time on my own. But of course I'm home and I have to engage with them. You need to go. Are you alright?
Huh?
You need to go?
So I need to go at 3:45, and I was concerned that we might. So I have 44 minutes. Is that fine for you?
Okay, good.
And then I have to run to go get Alice, or else I might have to go to the police and explain why I left my daughter in the street. So, by then you're divorced. I'm mentioning that you're getting forced apart from your friends because you're traveling a lot, and at this stage when you are invited to a dinner, you're kind of resentful because that's one more obligation.
One more duty, that's right. And that was the saddest part for me. I mean, you know, I was always spending time with my family, my kids, and my wife when I was home, but because I was in the same house. But my friends, I love my friends. I love to spend time around friends, and I wasn't a good friend. I told them that afterwards, and they said, "Oh, you were a good friend." I really wasn't. Even though I would sometimes go out to those dinners, I would always be thinking of my business or something else I had to do. So yeah, I was really sad about that.
And when you were traveling, I guess even when you were in Tokyo or Paris, you didn't have time to see anything else than the airport, the taxi, and the conference place.
The hotel, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Yes. That's right. I was in Tokyo one time for 4 days. I saw the hotel, I saw the place where I saw the airport, I saw the hotel, I saw the place where I spoke. I got on another plane and I went home. I did not see Japan, if you will. I knew there were Japanese people there, so I was in Japan.
So then I'm putting you in a projection of what happens 10 years later if you don't change, which is like a spur to change, because you would have to spend your retirement working since your bank account doesn't reflect your income of the last 30 years.
That's right.
First class ticket.
I'm giving hundreds of thousands to women I no longer cared for. Yes.
Money.
And overspent because I wanted to reward myself for working so much, which was crazy. Then I'd have to work more.
Wait, that's an important point. Because as a reward of working so much.
You buy an expensive car, or electronic toys, or upgrade first class transfer dollars.
So I'm saying that this was like a slap in the face that forced you to watch to look at your life in a different way. You didn't have a healthy relationship to money, to your friends, to work, and that you also would need to change your attitude in the couple relationship if you wanted to find out again. So I have then a quote from Erickson, which is, you can't change the cards you're dealt with, but you can change the way you play them.
That's good. That's good.
And now I want to, so you said you read the 4-Hour Work Week and Your Money or Your Life.
That's right. You're breaking up. Somehow there's a static. I can't hear your questions as well. Maybe that's on my side, maybe it's on your side. That's good. So I read the 4-Hour Work Week and what?
And Vicki Robbins' Your Money or Your Life.
That's right. Both of those books were really important. That's right.
So you decided to start a business online to...
Who could change someone's life. I think that's a really important story. So.
What? Can you repeat just the last sentence?
Yes, I like that you're going to put in your book that reading a book can help change someone's life.
Yes, that's a good thing to say. So the goal with starting an online business was to not have to travel for work, to pay back the mortgage on your house, and to become a free entrepreneur.
I would say more than pay back the mortgage on my house. I had other debts. I wanted to pay off my debts. I actually thought I would just die in debt and that my estate would pay off my credit cards and my debts. You know, they would sell my house or whatever it would be, and maybe I'd have life insurance and that would pay off my debts. So it wasn't just my house. I mean, the house is, most people have a house debt. I never expected to pay off my house debt. I thought I would do that over many years. I did it within 5 years once I started internet marketing, doing online stuff. So, yeah, I definitely want to have more time. I want to be able to be less scheduled.
Okay.
I've discovered that for me, work is when I have to do something at a certain time. Because then I'm not free to follow my energy. And I'm really productive when I can follow my energy. And when I have to do stuff, I'm less productive. But, yeah, I can see, for me, when I came across, I thought, well, everything's going on the internet. Even though I'm not a digital native, everything is becoming on the internet. It's becoming online. Well, why did I put my trainings online? I didn't know how to do it. But I could see that was the direction the world was going, and I wanted to get ahead of that. Especially for people in my generation who weren't doing it. Because I had all this credibility, all these books, all this information. I love to speak and teach, and why not put that online? And then I don't have to be anywhere at any certain time. I don't have to be scheduled, and I can make it once and make money from it again and again. That was appealing to me. That looked like open ocean, blue sky to me. It just looked like freedom. Yeah, it looked like freedom. Financial freedom, location freedom, and energy freedom.
So then I mentioned that when you were learning, so I mentioned the framework that I learned for you. I renamed it so it worked in French, but it's the blissed, blessed, pissed, dissed model. And I'd love...
Laisser, I sometimes call that the wound. Laisser.
Bless you.
To be wounded, yeah.
So here's a question then. Out of the things that motivated you to do the businesses that you do, what would you say would fit in from your story in each category? So how were you blessed? What was your bliss?
I love to teach and I love to change the world. I mean, I wanted to change the world. That was exciting to me. I wanted to help other people. That was the bliss. I mean, the blessed was I always found mentors and guides and of those, like Jeff Skywalker, you know, he became my mentor, and he showed me a way, and not only believed in me and helped me, encouraged me, but actually had a method or a system. You know, again, like you have that system that you're teaching for people, and you become a teacher and mentor. Anything that we're meeting, you don't have to meet your mentors. You can get them through a book, you can get them through a video. They can be your mentors if you've never met them. They can be your role models. So those people were my role models. Dr. Erickson and Jeff Walker were two major role models that appeared at the right time. And I want to see two other people who were internet gurus, and they were repelling to me.
Interesting. And what were your...
If we want to talk about them, because they just seem greedy and not full of integrity. When I met Jeff, it was just like, oh, a kind person who's not greedy, makes a lot of money. There's nothing wrong with making money, but he doesn't seem greedy. He doesn't seem only motivated to make more and more money. He seems to want to help people and change the world, and he seems like a person of integrity and a nice person. So that really made a difference, because I've seen Armin Moran, who you probably know, remember from the early internet years, he was just a disgusting person to me when I went to his thing. He was selling. Everybody in the States was selling, and he was bragging about how he just bought a new house to come out to Las Vegas to do this seminar, and he bought a new Lamborghini just to put in the driveway. And I'm like, that's how he started. And I'm like, this is not what this is not what I want. I want to know how to do it, but I don't want to make brag.
Yeah, you don't want to get that. Yeah.
And
what?
I went to Frank Kern, who I know you learned from, and I learned so much from him. But I just thought he messed around too much and wasn't teaching me what he promised to teach me. Just like doing porno. I met you at that.
Yeah, I remember that.
I saw you. He was doing porno with giving away booze, and I'm like, oh, come on, in here. This is not nice. And you promised you would teach content because you were recording this. I was so disturbed that I left that, and I was like, okay, Ruth, who else? She goes, Jeff Walker. Come to Jeff Walker. I said, okay, 3 strikes and you're out. I've been to 2 already. They really turned me off, and I want to learn this stuff, but I gotta find somebody I can trust and believe in. And Jeff was, as soon as I saw him, I said, that's it. This is my guy.
Okay. So how would you say you'd been pissed and dissed?
Oh yeah, sorry. So pissed, I really dislike, and I said that earlier, how psychotherapy was practiced in the world. So that's my first piss. I wanted to change how psychotherapy is practiced all around the world, and I think I have. I've been part of changing. I've even changed it in France, which was the hardest, because they're so hooked on psychoanalysis, this very intellectual and analysis approach to psychotherapy, which to me is ridiculous. It helps some people, I shouldn't say it doesn't help anybody, but it helps very few people. And it just makes therapists a lot of money and is intellectually interesting. So I really helped that. But then I realized my mission was bigger than psychotherapy. And I think it's much like yours. It seemed like what the universe had equipped me for was help people figure out what they were supposed to do in life, what contribution they were supposed to make, and then my job was to help them realize that, and also to remove the barriers to making the biggest contribution they could make. And so my mission became bigger than just changing the field of psychotherapy, so it was more efficient, more respectful, and work better. That was the first mission. The second mission became bigger. That was help anybody in the world who can make the world a better place and contribute to the world, figure out what their particular contribution and remove the barriers to making that contribution in the biggest way.
Okay. And okay, I like that. And dissed. How were you dissed before you went to it?
I mean, it's a weird thing in that 2 ways. This And so that led to lists like bliss, bless, piss, and dis, the 10 P's for writing a book, figuring out Erickson's patterns. Because Erickson was monumentally, really confused person. And so when I went to, luckily he was a benevolent person. He wasn't like my grandfather with evil intentions. But it was hard to be around Erickson because he was confusing. So my superpower became, out of my being wounded, blessure, that's right, I would call it blessure, disrespected, I developed a compensatory superpower of really good outline mind. I can come up with lists and sequences for do this first, do this second, do this third, do this. Here are the components for success. Here are the components for doing hypnosis. I'm really good at organizing things and making them really clear, which is why Taproot's is still in print and a successful book. It was my first book, but a lot of books go out of print in a year. That book is still being sold, and it does pretty well because people say it's the clearest book on Erickson I've ever read, and that clarity comes out of my mood, if you will. That I was disrespected in that way, and I developed a skill that takes me forward into the world, and a desire to have everybody understand things. You know, that it could be overwhelming or confusing. Again, I don't know why that's your mission, but it seems to be your mission. You're trying to help all these entrepreneurs, potential entrepreneurs, and you have a really clear way of thinking. I don't know how you developed that, but maybe, you know, why you became an engineer too. There's something that pulled you towards it.
Thank you for your sharing and emphasize. And so, just can I share that in this chapter? Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just talked about it for 25 years or something, and people would come up to me and say, "Oh my gosh, you were so open, and I can't believe you were such a nice person." I came to the conclusion years ago, I didn't do it. He did it. There's nothing for me to be ashamed about. He did that. I wasn't to blame for that. I'm not a bad person. He did something to a little kid who was vulnerable. I have no shame about it. My life is an open book. All my divorces have,
So talk to me now about the actions you took and challenges you faced. Here's the info I have, and I need to flesh out the details of that story. Is that you made a mailing list of the people that saw you on stage, built a document about 30 things a therapist needs to do to get himself known. Sold it for $12.95 and sold like 200 of them.
That's good. You're taking good notes. That's good, yeah. I was so excited that I could create something on a Tuesday. I'd already built a little email list from speaking. Because I'd say, if you want my copy of my handouts or slides, it depends on just write me an email. I didn't have a way to collect email addresses that was automatic, and I will put you on my email list, and I'll let you know when I have new things coming out. But I had 2,000 emails, and I sent out those 2,000 emails. Then I sold 200 of these $14.95 little reports, and I had made it on a Tuesday. I formatted it that day. I released it on a Thursday, and I sold 200. I was jumping around my living room all alone because my wife had left me, but I was jumping around the living room and saying, I can't believe it. I made something up, and 2 days later, people have it in their hands, and it's changing their lives, and I'm making money from it. This internet stuff could work. I was really excited. I didn't have any systems or anything at that point. I just learned from somebody from an audio tape how to create a report itself online. That was it. That was the first thing I ever did.
So this give you hope that this online thing can work.
This direction could work, and I knew almost nothing about it, and the small thing I knew had already produced income in a short amount of time. Before, if I had to make income, I would have to plan it months or even years ahead to a speaking speaking thing or to write a book, this was instant, 2 days, and there was already income. I was like, whoa, there's a potential here. I can't believe it.
So what happened after that?
After that, I jerked around for a couple of years and didn't do much. I did a few more of those kind of things. I put out small things, but it wasn't enough to move the needle. I was speaking 3 times a month all over the world. I was traveling too much. I was working too much. And I determined, okay, I can see that this could work. I just don't know how to do it. I just don't have the systems. I don't have the knowledge and the systems. So I searched around for the mentor, for the teacher, and it took me a couple of years to come across Jeff's stuff. And it made sense to me. But then it took me probably another year, probably because I was busy, maybe another year to put everything in place, to put my opt-in page. You know, I had a big website like most people with all 17 pages on it. And to create a one-page website, weirdly, even though that's so simple, that took me, there weren't the tools also at the time, and I wasn't much of a programmer. I was too in debt to my ex-wives to hire anyone to be an assistant. So it took me about a year to put up my first opt-in page. Then my emails went from 2,000 to 6,000. And then I started building online business.
So how did they go from 2,000 to 6,000?
Yeah.
How?
Well, I was already speaking, so whenever I would speak, I would say, hey, if you want a free ebook that's a lazy man's guide to success, go onto my website and sign up. And by then I had some automated systems where they could sign up and there'd be an autoresponder that would deliver an ebook to them, which was my favorite book. And it was just, I turned it into an ebook and I gave it away around the world because I wanted to help a lot of people and I wanted to build my email. So I went from 2,000 to 6,000, and in the next few years I went from 6,000 to about 12,000 using other giveaways, free webinars, things like that. Then I started doing launches and it went from 11,000, 12,000 to right now 37,000. I'm still a pretty small business, but 37,000 earns me enough money not to have to work. So that I can write songs out there.
So I'm trying to get the chronology. So you launched the ebooks. That's not enough at this point to quit doing conferences. So you meet Ruth from NICABM that wants you to do an online hypnosis course. That's when you go to all of these seminars. No, you knew Ruth before.
Sorry, you're breaking up again.
Sorry.
I don't know why it is. It may be on my side, but go ahead, say it again.
So you knew Ruth from before, or did you meet her doing that?
I knew Ruth because she hired me as a speaker, and I told her, she won't remember it this way, but I said, you have to get online, Ruth. You have to get online, because that's where everything is going. And so I was an evangelist, even though I wasn't doing it myself. She bought the $1,000 course. I got the $47 course. She started making literally tens of thousands of dollars very soon. She hired a bunch of college students to be her coders, and she would bring back the stuff from Armin Moran's course, and she would just say, make me do this. And Armin Moran had told what to do, and she did it. So I could see we started at the same time, and I could see she was going way up, and I stayed about the same. So then she just started asking me to come to Armin Moran's thing, and then later Frank Hurd, and then ultimately Jeff. And by the end, and I was busy because I was traveling every week. And she said, and so I was traveling 3 weeks out of the month, and the one weekend I was off, she'd say, come to an Armin Moran thing, or come to a Frank Hurd thing. And finally, I said, it's my only free weekend. You're asking me to come to these things and they're not working. And
Jane Savoy.
And she made like $80,000 on one day, and I was like, my God, she's teaching horses to dance, and I'm changing people's lives, and she's making $80,000 in a day. I have to learn, and that's when I became truly committed to the PLF thing. And then the next year I came back, I bought PLF. But the next year I came back, and I was thinking about joining the platinum mastermind, and it was $12,000. And Ruth said that you guys had some discussion, and she was one of the initiators, that the price should be raised because you want some better people, and you want people who are serious. And so he raised the price to $19,000. It's like, oh shit. And $12,000 was a lot for me at that time. And then it was 14,000. So he started two groups, Flat Plus and Flat. And he said it's 19,000, but it's 14,000 if you pay all at once. And I was like, okay, I'm in. So that's when it really took off for me, when I got serious about it.
Okay.
And I learned that stuff like the back of my hand, and then I started thinking, that's when things really changed. And that was probably 2010, 2011, maybe 2010. And everything changed.
Oh.
I made, on my first big launch, well, first I made, before I knew internet marketing, I did a course, I made $5,000, and that's what I was charging per day to speak. And that was, wow, one day a month, I can stay home. That's great. Then the next one I made $9,000, then I made $5,000. And then I did an internal launch after I learned PLF, and I made $25,000. Oh, that's pretty good.
So, quick question: when you decided that that 5,000 would save you a day of speaking a month, did you set a goal that, so in the next month I want to sell one, and in the following month I want to sell two? Did you do that?
Yeah, here's what I did, but actually Ruth smacked me down. I decided, I know how to create content. I have 50 workshops that I do. Why not turn every one of these things into a course? And I'll do one course a month. So if it's $5,000 a month, I'll do a course a month. And I'll be able to stay home. And I'll just rotate. Every 12 months, I'll start another one. January I'll do one. And I started creating, and I created 12 courses before Ruth found out about it. She just freaked out. She said, Bill, no! She looked metaphorically over the phone. She sat me and said, one course, Bill, focus. And I said, I don't think I can do that. She goes, okay, two. Choose your top two ones and focus on those and make them really successful. And then so I chose book writing, because I had some credibility there, and I've been on Oprah, and I've done all these books, and I knew how to do it. Plus, I coached a bunch of people to write books, and they'd already succeeded. One guy got a $30,000 advance, he'd never written a word. And I was like, oh, I can do this. So that was one, and the other one was hypnosis, which was my great love. I wanted to teach the whole world. You see me teach it, but Ericksonian hypnosis, I believe it's such a profoundly effective and spiritual approach to me that I really wanted to success. So I focused on those two courses, and I started growing those. And hypnosis made $25,000 without me even doing launch.
Okay.
Then I started to do launches, and the next one I made $68,000. No. Okay. Now I can stop scheduling for 2 years out. I was already scheduled a year and a half, 2 years out. I was scheduled, if I went overseas, it was always, I had to schedule a year and a half, 2 years out, sometimes 3 years out. So I thought, okay, I am not going to schedule so many overseas things, twice a year only.
Okay.
And then I started to schedule fewer and fewer in the United States and Canada, places like that. As the next course I did it as a full-blown launch with affiliates, and I brought in $234,000. And I was like, okay, now I don't have to schedule anything 2 years from now. I'm just going to stop scheduling workshops, traveling workshops. I just don't want to do it anymore. I want to stay home. And I said, if I can do this one more time, I can convince myself. And the
Mm-hmm.
Then I paid it off in 5 years, and I paid off all my debts. I haven't been in debt in 6 or 7 years. A long time.
Nice.
And I barely work. Unlike you and unlike some other people, once I made enough money, I already worked a lot in my life. I just don't want to have any obligated work anymore. Nothing that where I have to be scheduled.
Mm-hmm.
And so I laid around for a while and read, played music, went to movies, and hung out with my friends, and hung out with my now partner, who says we should never get married because I have bad marriage karma. And then what emerged for me was to become a songwriter. So I had all this time, I had enough money, and an old dream of becoming a musician and making a living at that, and getting my songs out to millions of people became a new dream. And here I am in my dotage, in my 60s, having a totally new dream, and I feel like somebody has plugged me into the wall. I became a little too content, a little too relaxed, and all of a sudden I have a new dream and a new goal and new joy and passion, and I'm writing. I've written 37 songs already this year. It's amazing. I wrote about 37 songs over 40 years, whenever they occurred to me. And in the last 3 months, I've written 36 songs. And they're better than all the songs I wrote over the years. And I'm going to be a good songwriter.
Awesome.
So I went on and on. We got to go very soon. So.
Yeah. Questions. Wait. So you obviously know some of the other characters from the book. So I have questions about anything you would have learned from or shared with them, because I'm trying to connect the stories at different points. And some you might not know, so I'll still say the names, but maybe you don't know them. There's a couple of French people that are in the self-help therapy space called Peggy Tonigo and Jeff Ruiz. I don't know if you know of them.
Again, you're breaking up. Jeff who?
Jeff and Peggy, a couple of French people in the space. No?
You know them, I don't think.
David J, you know him.
Oh, yeah.
So any memorable, like any specific memory you'd have about David, something he shared, something you shared with him?
Yeah, I think David, was the first one that showed me and many other people how to do more compelling videos. And, the internet is, YouTube is the most visited website. Videos are the way to go. But most people make boring videos, and I thought David really had a revolutionary thing to kind of, again, get the pattern of how you engage people through video. And I was blown away by the relatively simple things that he figured out about how to get people to be more engaged in watching your videos, how to make better videos, and how to be more engaged. That was really helpful.
I don't think you remember Yvan from my mastermind.
I remember, yeah, he lived off Africa, right?
Yes, that's him.
Messenger Island, whatever it was called, I can't remember what the name of the island.
Do you remember what the topic was that you shared at the mastermind? You talked about writing books. I think it was about
I
writing.
talked about writing books. I don't know whether I talked about storytelling. I think
Storytelling, yes. Okay.
Storytelling, yeah. Because that was one of the things. I was not a storyteller, although I came from a family with some good storytellers in it, until I met Erickson. Then, same thing. I'm going to analyze how to tell a story and figure out how to do it compellingly. Because again, like video, telling stories, which you do in your book, if you just gave the facts as a system, it'd be a little boring for people.
Yeah.
They could read it if they were really motivated, but stories 7 years ago,
Yeah.
8 years ago, whatever.
It's a very effective way of communication. Jeanne, you would not know. David Laroche. Oh yeah, I remember that. So let's not go there. No, actually no. You haven't met. Do you know David Laroche?
You're breaking up. Sorry, I hate this.
David Laroche is a young French guy, even younger than I am, actually.
Yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
No, it doesn't. Okay. I saw the picture briefly, but no, I don't remember him. Maybe I should.
And but Aurélien, you were contemporary to Aurélien from in Platt. So any memories from him? Aurélien Macaire, the French guy.
Say again, you're breaking up. I barely hear you.
Aurélien.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is he still in South America or earlier?
In Spain now.
Spain, okay. Yeah, certainly I remember him. There were, I think there were 4 French folks at first. I can't remember who else.
Mm-hmm. So any memories, things you would have learned or talked about with Aurélien, where the story crosses?
Just again, that thing that appealed to me, that you can live anywhere in the world, and you can be free. You can be location independent, you can be time independent, and money independent. And that, you can do anything that the next thing. And the other thing for him is he loved to learn. He wanted, like you, he would interview people for what they knew, which is, I think, really cool. I think that one of the joys of life is somebody has figured something out. I don't have to go and learn it all. I can ask them, what did you learn about this? And can you teach me? And then can I share it with other people? And that becomes your business. That becomes your contribution to the world. You've found these geniuses that figured something out in some specific niche, and you can share it with the world, and you can make a living from that. That's amazing.
Okay, so I think I have most of the details I needed. So right now, do you live in Nashville or do you live in Santa Fe?
I live in both. I live 10 days a month in Nashville. What I was told was, you have to write 1,000 songs to write one good one. Sure, I gotta get busy. Second thing is, you have to be in Nashville to make it as a songwriter because people won't take you seriously unless you're here. And I love my place. I have a place in Santa Fe that's beautiful. Santa Fe itself is beautiful. And I have this house that's all paid off. That's good. And so I said to my partner, they told me I have to be in Nashville. She said, do we have to sell a house and move? And I said, well, that's really sweet of you, but no. I think I just should rent a place there, and I rent a place with 3 other songwriters, and I'm there 10 days a month, and I'm 2 weeks, and the other 20 days in Santa Fe, and then I come back and I write songs, and I write 2 songs a day when I'm here. And I love it. It's hard and fun, and I'm getting so much better. And in Nashville, we co-write, so I meet in the morning, 10 o'clock in the morning with 2 other people. I write a song. I go to lunch, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I write another song. It's like going to work. It's amazing.
Wow.
And I'm loving it. And I'm going to be a hit song, as I said. That's my intention. You will hear my songs on the radio.
I'm totally up for promotion whenever that happens.
All right. Great. Good. Thanks.
Okay, so if there was one quote or message that people have to remember from your story and your example, what would that be?
Well, I mean, it's sort of because I'm probably an unusual example. You're never too old to learn. This is the great thing about human beings. We come out of the womb and we're not fully formed yet. right teachers, read the right book, and you can learn anything. So don't ever say, oh, you can't teach an author new tricks, which is an English saying, or I'm too old, I don't know anything about the internet, I'm technological. You don't have to be technological, you just have to know how to learn. And then make the right connections. Hire people, find the right mentors, teachers, and read the right books.
Thank you. All right, thank you so much. That's perfect timing. I have...
Say hi to Cecile.
Everything.
A little kiss to your beautiful baby.
I will.
And will I see you at PLF Lab?
Not this year, sadly. I'm still... my contract says that I have to give my publisher the book at the end of March, which they didn't say if it was Friday 29th or Sunday 31st at midnight.
Yeah, I've done that.
So it's probably gonna be the second option.
Yeah, I would assume.
And yeah, it's probably gonna be about 100,000 words, and I'm 76,000 in, so I still have quite a bit of writing.
Congratulations, that is so
Thank you.
great. You're changing so many lives, and I miss seeing you, and I hope to see you again whenever, who knows, but maybe at one of the future PLF Lives or LaunchCon or...
So I'll be in California though in the week of the 11th or 14th. So is that
Which month? Which month?
April?
I'll be here, I think. I'll be in Phoenix for the PLF Live, and then I'll be back here writing songs.
In Nashville? Okay. I will find a way that we see each other. Yeah.
We'll stay in touch. We're friends.
So
Treasure our friendship.
so I'm sending you lots of love from France. And oh, by the way, if you do have a recording of the Driving to Durango song, I would love to have that one.
I will text that to you, a link to get it. Yes, definitely. Okay. Oh yeah.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Thanks again. Talk to you soon, Bill.
Bye.
And say hi to your lovely fiancé.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
You have to hang up. I don't know how to do it on my iPad.
I'll kick you from the call.
Okay, great.
Bon, voilà. Alors, je pense qu'il reste plus que genre 2 ou 3 agisseurs qui sont ambassadeurs, qui sont encore en ligne avec nous, avec moi, du coup, tout seul, sur ce live. Merci d'avoir participé. Donc, en fait, ce que j'ai fait, juste pour ceux que ça intéresse, c'est que je prenais plein de notes sur tout ce que m'a dit Bill. J'ai pris des notes dans mon traitement de texte. Pour pouvoir ensuite écrire les chapitres et comme vous avez entendu, en fait, ce qui est intéressant, c'est que j'ai commencé par rédiger à partir de ce que je savais déjà une certaine trame de l'histoire et les chapitres qui incluent Bill, mais à certains endroits je ne savais pas quels étaient les faits réels. Donc j'écris par exemple que sa femme lui a laissé un mot sur le frigo avant de le quitter et qu'elle s'est barrée. Je ne sais pas du tout au moment où j'écris ça si c'est vrai, donc c'est pour ça que je fais l'interview pour avoir les détails réels. Mais le fait d'avoir déjà écrit un peu ce que je veux dans l'histoire, dans mon chapitre, ça me permet d'aller beaucoup plus vite dans l'interview en allant juste chercher l'info correcte. Et aussi, ça me permet de savoir quelle était l'intention que j'avais dans l'écriture pour obtenir l'info qui rentre bien dans ce chapitre et ne pas divaguer. Voilà. Merci d'avoir suivi cette session et on se retrouve dans le groupe des ambassadeurs. Pour les personnes qui ont suivi le live sur YouTube Live, sachez que vous pouvez candidater pour être ambassadeur pour mon livre. Allez juste sur entrepreneurlibre.com/lancement et vous verrez toutes les vidéos où je parle du lancement de mon livre dans les coulisses et de comment vous pouvez participer à ce lancement et voir toutes mes stratégies. Allez, merci encore et bonne fin de journée. À très vite.